Welcome, everybody. I'm Marc David, founder of the Institute for the Psychology of Eating. We are back in the Psychology of Eating podcast with Julia today. Welcome, Julia.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm glad you're here. And so here's how this works. You and I get to meet for the first time. And this is our session together to see if we can just help move you forward. So if you could wave your magic wand and get whatever you wanted with food or body, what would that be for you? What's your big wish?
Yeah, when you say magic, it just takes me to my almost like a fantasy of I really want to feel light and flexible in my body, which I have it in my inner knowing. It's when I say light and flexible, it's almost like the movie Avatar that we watch, like really having this light and flexible body. Which doesn't sound very realistic, but that's my inner desire once you put magic in the word. So here it is.
So a light and flexible body. Julia, tell me, where are you from?
I live in London, but originally from Turkey.
All right, great. So lighter, does lighter mean less weight for you?
Yeah, that comes as a conclusion also, but it's more than a kilogram on the scale, but really feeling light inside of being more expansive, almost like in my physical body. Yeah, but the conclusion of that is, yeah, the kilograms on the scale also counts. Yeah.
Yes. How much weight would you like to lose?
I think initially about 6 kilograms. That's something within my band, but anything beyond that, it feels like not within my boundaries at the moment. Yeah.
How long have you been wishing to lose that amount of weight?
It's beginning of this year. So I was 6 kilograms less like a couple of years ago. So I have this window of weight. I go down and up, but yeah, it's within that scale. So the 6 kilograms less is, I've been there many times, but I can't go beyond.
So when you lose that 6 kilograms, do you feel lighter?
Lighter, yes. But not as much as I have it in my dreams or in my fantasies, let's put it that way. And then there is a moment I bounce back thinking, oh, it's just not a reality for me. And I just bounce back again.
And when you say bounce back again, meaning your weight goes up or you start feeling heavier?
Well, first my old eating habits pattern starts kicking in, and then gradually I start feeling heavier and heavier also, and around my gut area it really gets stagnant after a while and heavy.
So before this last 2 years, has weight ever been a concern for you?
Well, I never been really thin or slim, but yeah, it was always on the side. And yeah, I did try many diets and different things. Yeah, it's been on and off, basically. It's been part of my life.
Yes. So are you in a relationship?
Not at the moment, no.
Do you have children?
I have a son, yeah, grown up.
All right, congratulations. How old?
Thank you. 20 at the university at the moment.
Yay. So are you interested in being in a relationship?
I am, yes.
And what would you say when you think of feeling lighter? Describe that. I mean, I think I know what you mean, but can you put more words around that? When I feel lighter, here's what it's going to look and feel like. Here's who I'm going to be when I lose this weight and feel lighter. Describe this new person.
Yeah, physically, I don't have this heaviness in my gut area, so it's neutral or flexible. because I tend to hold a lot of things in my bowels, which means lots of constipation, blah, blah, but I can physically feel it around my tummy. That's one thing. On the emotional side, when I say I'm light, it's like I'm not in the survival. It feels like I keep myself in the survival, but when I'm light and flexible, it feels like I'm beyond that. I'm not in survival anymore. That's how it feels to me. And it's almost like, yeah, flying in life or flowing in life, both actually.
What happens in life specifically that you find you might go into that survival kind of thinking or survival way of feeling and being?
It's really small things, doesn't have to be big. I can consciously notice my nervous system goes into contraction by small things, really. And then that survival mechanism kicks in. My old pattern of eating and behaving just kicks in, and it becomes almost like unmanageable when I'm there. So it becomes very narrow-minded, kind of rigid style that I end up being. That includes overeating and really holding myself together and everything. So it feels like I'm just flying away from being flexible and light.
So things happen in life, they could be little things, and it puts you in a little bit of stress, puts you in survival, and then you can find yourself overeating. I'm just trying to repeat back to you what you said to me. So what does overeating look like for you?
I consider myself eating quite healthy, actually. However, I mean, I do tend to eat a lot, which means really in those moments, I physically need to feel that it actually fills my stomach. So like I can have lots of soup, but it just doesn't have the same effect. It's almost like I need to feel that physically in my body. So overeating means really feeling myself.
Yes. What a great observation. You know, I think for all of us, overeating can mean different things. There's different reasons why we might do that. And for you, that overeating helps you feel, oh, I'm fulfilled, I'm satisfied. I have food in my body and now I'm feeling good and I'm feeling complete. So it's almost like you need that enough physical food in your body so that you can go, oh, okay, that feels like I've eaten.
That's the initial feeling, yes. The
Okay.
initial orgasmic physical feeling that I have, but afterwards it starts evolving to other places, like when you cannot eliminate it or when your body feels stuff when you wake up in the morning. Yeah, then it's a different story. But initially, yes.
Have you ever been treated for constipation? Do you do anything specific? Do you take certain supplements?
Yeah, I've been working with a functional medicine practitioner, and I'm on this SIBO protocol at the moment, on the second half of the protocol. If you are familiar, it's just going through different stages.
How is that working for you so far?
It's working. I think I feel like I'm kind of 40% progressed, but still a long way to go. And it's only supported by supplements and by diet. But I feel like there is something more for me that I need to explore. It's not enough. Yeah. Okay,
so let's do that. Let's explore what else there can be, because there's, sounds like there's an interesting picture going on. There's a part of you that wants to feel lighter, and part of feeling lighter, it's an emotional feeling, but for you, it's also having less weight. And part of feeling heavy is when you overeat, and initially it feels good, but then it starts to feel heavy.
Mm.
And then you can also find yourself being constipated, which would make anybody feel heavy, quite frankly. So then you're actually literally really feeling heavy, because what's happening in your gut is it's not functioning properly for you.
True. Yeah.
So, I'm glad you're working on a medical and nutritional level to help solve that, because that's one of the pillars, I think, of working with constipation for sure. And another one of the pillars is to just explore our emotional world and what's happening inside. And part of it, it's, you use the word flow. And part of it is, I think, asking the question, how do I flow more in my life in general? How do I let go more in my life? Because in a strange way, not being constipated is the ability to just let go. The body's just letting go, and the body lets go naturally. And sometimes things happen when we get stressed. We can hold on. We can brace ourselves. We can contract. And when I'm contracting, because of stress, because of anxiety, because of upset, because of whatever little thing bothers me, when I'm contracting, it's harder for the body, for some of us, to do its job. So it almost seems like your elimination might be the weaker link in your body, where when you're feeling stressed or anxious or upset, that's where that stress impacts you. Does that make sense for you so far?
Totally. The moment I can now, I am really conscious of what's going on in my body, but even the small stress, the first part of my body is my gut that gets contracted. Like if I change a location, if I travel, it will really take some time for my bowels to come back. So even in my human design, it says it's my center, the gut feeling is my center.
Yes.
So it's my weakest and probably the strongest part, which I cannot optimize at the moment because I have so many things going on.
Yes. One of the ways it's sometimes there's not a clear answer to these things, because if there was a clear, simple answer, you would have found it already. So we have to explore different possibilities. I think, how old are you right now?
52.
52. So, as the body gets older, so you're not 22 anymore, you're not 32 anymore. And in many ways, the body gets smarter, I think, as it gets older, because it just has more experience. Our immune system has more experience. Our nervous system has more experience. The body can really get better and smarter in many ways. And we age, and the body can also get weaker. And I think part of what might be helpful for you is to begin to really expand and develop a new relationship with your gut, with your midsection. So just think of it as a relationship. Think of your gut as its own person. Your gut has a personality. So when I say your gut, I'm just saying your midsection, all of it, your digestion, your elimination. And the gut's the part of you that helps you feel satisfied. Oh, there's enough food in here, I feel good. Or, oh, I really like this food. The gut's the part of you that's breaking everything down and extracting energy and extracting nutrition. The gut is very feeling. It's why we say, at least in English language, we say, I had a gut feeling about that person. Yeah. So we say we have a gut feeling because there's a tremendous amount of intelligence in the gut. there's a separate yet interconnected nervous system in your gut. We call it the enteric nervous system. There's as many nerve cells in your gut as there are in your spinal cord. It's over 100 million nerve cells. So meaning there's a tremendous amount of intelligence in the gut. There's a tremendous amount of feeling in the gut. Our gut feels. So again, it's why we say I had a gut feeling. You don't say I had an elbow feeling or I had a kidney feeling about somebody. We say I have a gut feeling. So it might be a good time in your life for you to expand your relationship with that part of your body. And instead of saying, so I know you want to feel lighter there. I know you want to feel full without having to feel heavy. So those are all completely legitimate. Now that you have that wish, now that you know that's what you want, I think one of the ways to start to get there is to learn more of the language of what your gut is saying and what it wants. Meaning, when you tell me, oh, you know, if there's a little bit of change or if there's some travel, it's easy to feel upset in my gut. So how do you care for it more? How do you pay attention to it more? How do you calm it down? Instead of the gut being the enemy or the place where something is wrong with me, how do you make better friends with it? Because I think there's a place where your gut, your midsection, is just wanting more love. How does that land for you when I say that?
It really touches me.
Yes.
I mean, some of the things you said that I already know, but it hasn't landed in me. It's only now it's really sinking in me. What's opening up for me is my body is almost like working in two different sections, like the upper body and the lower body. So yeah, my mind is taking over, and then when the gut has something to say, it's almost like I'm numbing it and don't want to hear it. And if there is something major, okay, let's just focus on it, fix it, and get it over done with it. That's my relation with my gut. This is what's opening up for me now, rather than, okay, let's find the flow. Yeah, I'm just noticing there is this inner war in me between my mind and my gut, and I just ignore my gut. And whenever there is something major, I just take it as a problem to fix and then just get away with it, rather than building up that relationship with my gut.
Yes, that's so important. I'm so glad you're seeing that, and I'm so glad you're saying that, because the approach that you're taking is the approach that we're taught. So it's not like you're doing anything wrong. That's the approach that we're taught. Something's wrong, fix it. Something's not working right, just power through it. And that's not how the body is always wanting us to be in relationship with it. And I'm just getting the sense, because you are such a feeling person and you are such a sensitive person, and it feels like you're a very intuitive person, and your gut is talking to you in its own language. It has its own language. Your heart has its own language that's different from the head. Yes. Your gut has its own language that's different from any other body part. And it's a center of intelligence. It's a center of feeling. And I think it would be really good to start to, in a way, channel your gut, like really listen to what it's asking of you. And it's probably asking of you a lot of subtle things. Like notice me, like care for me, like slow down, touch me, massage me, take me for a walk and do some deep breathing. As opposed to, how do I fix this? So it's almost like you're allowing your gut to have its own consciousness and its own emotionality, which it does. And you responding to its emotional nature. So when your son was small and he was young and he was nervous or he was anxious, do you say to him, stop being so nervous, stop being so anxious? How do we got to fix your nervousness and your anxiousness? No, you be a good mama. You give him a hug, you see what he's nervous and anxious about, and you try to support him and help him.
Yes.
So I think the same with your midsection. There's a place where if I'm trying to fix it, I'm almost being separate from it. I'm almost pushing it away because I'm making it into a thing that can be fixed, like a broken car or something.
Yes. I even get angry to take it further down, thinking, oh my God, this is like, yeah, almost humiliated, like as if I've given this car, which is not up to technology or something, or not up to date. Yeah, sometimes I just get so frustrated with my body, with my gut, that they're not updated enough as a
Yes,
vehicle.
yes. And that's totally understandable. We're human and I want my body to work. If something's not working in my body, I promise you, I will be frustrated. And at some point, it's good to come around and start to listen. So yes, you're already doing things to help fix a potential imbalance. So if you're working with natural medicine, functional medicine, great. You're looking to see there could be some imbalances. And at the same time, oftentimes there's a deeper level going on because the body lives downstream of the soul. The body responds to who we are at a very deep level. And you're a sensitive person.
Yes.
And it's good to acknowledge that and to care for yourself. And I think in a lot of ways, your gut lets you know how sensitive you are.
Yeah.
Your gut lets you know, hey, Julia, I need you to love me. I need you to slow down with me. I need you to really listen and feel what I'm feeling.
Yes. And what I do is just, okay, let's get some favorite food and just numb you down so that I don't hear you.
Yes.
Let's calm you down with food so that I don't need to listen to you.
Right. Which is no different than, again, if we have a child and the child is upset and we just say, okay, here's an ice cream. Stop crying. Here's candy. Stop crying.
Of course, that's
Yeah,
something I learned as a child. That's how I was treated with my
yeah.
favorite foods, and I took it as love. But yeah.
Yeah, and it was a form of love because our parents are trying to help us. The big people are doing the best that they know how. Oh, my child is upset. Ice cream's going to make them feel good. Sugar is going to make them feel good. Sometimes that's all our parents know to do, or that's the best they can do.
Yeah.
And they're doing their best. So now you're the adult, and food can no longer satisfy and take care of your emotional needs. You can take care of your emotional needs just by listening and just by really pausing. I think for you, you probably have the tools already. It's just really pausing and listening and just asking your gut to talk to you. Like, what do you have to tell me? What do you need from me? What are you asking of me right now? And again, it could be something very simple. Slow down with me, rest with me, take care of me, touch me. I think you beginning to make friends with your gut and your belly is going to help you feel lighter. Because if we're at war with anything or anyone, we don't feel lightness with them. We feel heaviness with them. If I'm angry or upset at somebody, if I'm trying to fix someone in my life, it's a little heavy.
Yeah.
What do you think your gut is asking of you? Or what are some of the things that maybe your gut is asking of you that you haven't necessarily always listened to?
Pause during the day, especially like when I'm working, slow down and have breaks. That's one of them, because if I have a, for example, long meeting or something, in between two meetings, I end up in the kitchen. But there I need some time for myself rather than just, okay, grab something and go back to the other meeting. I think it's more about slowing down and really seeing my own needs in between.
Yes. Yes, it's, and especially, so are you working from home?
Most of the time, not always.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So you have some of that luxury then to be in your own space and take that pause and do some self-nurturing, because that means you're being in a flow. You're being in your flow, which is one of the things you wanted.
Yeah.
I want to feel more flexible. I want to feel lighter. It means being in a flow. So let's start to do the things right now that you say you want in the end. You say I want to feel lighter. I want to feel flexible. I want to feel like I'm in a flow. So flexibility means I'm not rigid. I'm not doing constantly the same thing. So flexibility means, oh, I can take a break. I can take time. Being in a flow means noticing that your body and your mind and your heart and your soul, sometimes you just need time for you at any point in the day.
Yes.
I think, Julia, that we're living in a world where it's so fast and there's so many demands on us and there's so many things we have to do and there's so many details that we lose some of our naturalness. And it's easy to lose connection with myself because I'm in front of the computer, I'm doing my work, I'm doing my job, I'm doing my tasks. And if my body's hurting or it's not working well, then I'm trying to fix it. And I'm being mad because it's broken, or I'm being upset because it's broken, or I'm not liking my body because it doesn't look the way I want it to look. And all of a sudden we're fighting ourselves and we're not in our flow. So I think whatever way you can reclaim your naturalness, your true nature, ask your soul what it wants, and oftentimes the soul talks through the body.
Yes.
So what are some of the practical things you could see yourself doing as a way to treat your gut better, get to know it better, take care of it better?
I've already been introducing some physical activities into my life, which is associated with pleasure for me. So like I've started dancing and that really helps me. I dance every week. So I think, yeah, I need to introduce more physical stuff rather than just mental or sitting down, but yeah, introduce more massage sessions into my life, which I do, but it's once in a while, but make it more regular maybe for myself. So
Mhm. Do you ever do any breathing? Just like breathe into your gut.
I have had breathing sessions, but maybe that's something I need to go back to also.
Sometimes that can be very helpful because when our midsection is tensed or stressed, it can literally go in a localized stress response. A localized stress response means sometimes if I'm under stress, maybe my neck tightens up.
Yes.
So that's where the stress lands. Or for some people, their eyes squint when they're under a lot of stress. For some people, their throat constricts. For a lot of people, my midsection constricts, my digestive organs constrict, my elimination constricts. And when there's localized stress, some of the great techniques are either touch or breathing into that part of the body. When you consciously send breath into your midsection, you send signals that you're relaxing. So like a long, slow, deep breath. And that gives your midsection the signal you're safe. You're relaxed. If I'm breathing like a stressed person, shallow, arrhythmic, infrequent, then I'm going to feel stressed. If I start to breathe like a relaxed person, regular, rhythmic, and deep, it sends a whole different signal into the body. So it's such a simple tool. It's a subtle tool, but it's very, very powerful because that part of the body wants to unwind. Movement will help it unwind. Even just walking can help stress in the midsection unwind, but breathing especially. And you just taking notice of that part of your body. I want to suggest something else. If I'm trying to change my gut, if this is where I gain weight, if I gain weight in my midsection, and if I then determine, hey, I don't want to gain weight in my midsection, I don't like that, which is fine, personal preference. It's fine to have our personal preferences. But what often happens is, especially on planet Earth, people have been very conditioned that if your gut has any belly fat, then somehow you're a bad person. Like, this is really bad. So it's easy to go to war with our body. It's easy for mind and gut to separate because the mind is saying, you're not good. You're not right. You're not okay. You're kind of the enemy. There's body fat there, or there's congestion there. So we're fighting a part of ourselves. And you can't win when you fight yourself. So what I'm going to suggest that you do is, in order for the gut to change in any way, I think the first place we need to start is where we're at right now, which means accepting where you're at right now. More to the point means being a little more loving to that part of you. Just like if your young child was sick, you wouldn't hate them because they're sick. You would love them even more. If they broke a bone, you would help them love that part of their body and take care of it. So feels to me like your gut is wanting just good old-fashioned love. You're smiling like that lands for you.
Yeah, it feels, I'm smiling, but at the same time, it feels so sad because I get a lot of feedback that I'm a very loving person, yet I don't know how to love my own gut. Externally, I can be a very loving person, but when it comes to my gut, there is so much this separation, anger, resentment, numbness that, yeah, this is where I am at the moment, to be honest and to confess it, there is so much separation and so much frustration, anger, and everything else, except for love at the moment.
Mhm. So let's reframe that just a little bit and say, yeah, I'm sure all the people that tell you that you're a loving person, they're correct and they're accurate. And none of us are perfect. And there's certain places where you and me and anybody else, if we're loving people, there's certain places where we're still learning.
Yeah.
And you know how to be a loving person. And there's certain places where, you're still learning. You're still young in those places, and you're learning how to love a certain part of your body. So you get to use some of the tools that you use to love other people or love other parts of you that are easy to love, and look at it as this is your relationship with your body. It's just being a great teacher for you. So there's nothing wrong with you. I get that it's frustrating. I get that, wait a second, I'm a loving person. I should be able to love anything and anyone and any part of me. And no, it doesn't work like that. So you get to learn how to love something that's previously been a little more unlovable for you. So that's just your classroom. That's your workshop.
Yes, I've got my direction now.
Yes,
New door for me. I'm not there, but I can see the door and I
yes.
can feel it, and it's really landed in me now.
Oh, I'm so glad. I'm really glad. And you know, it's so important. I'm a nutrition fanatic. I'm a fanatic when it comes to all types of functional and natural medicine and regenerative medicine and what are the latest tools and techniques. And I use them all. I spend my time, energy, money, and resource like learning about these things and treating myself. And what a lot of people don't realize is there's also a whole other dimension to healing that just goes beyond all that we oftentimes must include. And it's that more emotional, spiritual, soulful part of us that needs to be in relationship with our body in a different way. And I think this is just a particular soul lesson for you that you're learning.
I totally get it. I mean, my soul lessons were over my relationships, my marriage, then it was over my business. And in a way, they kind of complete, at least for a chapter. But now I see that my spiritual journey is through my gut, through my own body at the moment. So that's a new tool, new direction for me, which I appreciate it. I really get it now. I used to hear all the things, the body's our temple, it's sacred, blah, blah. But now I get it in my own case, how it's going to work.
Yes, yes. And it's not easy to turn around quickly, but it's simple in concept what needs to be done. And when I say simple in concept, means just more listening, just more pausing, more time, more, when I say listening, just listening to what your gut is telling you and being open to it, and more love. Just the moment you're in criticism of your body, catch yourself. And that's the moment where you just want to just put your hands on your belly and just send love there. And even you can say, even though this isn't perfect, even though this is not where I want it to be, I still love you. I still love this part of me, even though it's not perfect. Because there's plenty of people in your life that you love, they're not perfect, but you can still love them.
Yes.
How are you feeling about this conversation, Julia?
It's given me some hope, a new direction, a new opening. It's just this ancestral pattern also hits me from back of my mind again. When I look around to my family, my aunts, my mom, my grandma, they all seem to have a similar belly. That really frustrates me. It's like I'm just repeating what is in there already. And it's like a vicious circle. And I'm just in that context, in terms of the gut congestion, I just feel this similar pattern in all of them, even though they're probably not conscious of it, but the shape of the body and the fat around the tummy. And that kind of kicks me in. How does this ancestral or DNA stuff, the gene stuff, actually comes into play here? It feels like a vicious circle to me.
Well, part of it, it's a mystery, because the truth is, yes, our ancestral lineage not only impacts us genetically, so we're the genetic products of our parents, grandparents, great-grandparents, but we're also connected to them on an emotional level, a spiritual level, a soul level. And there's certain lessons that come down through our family lineage, certain challenges that are less genetic, they're more epigenetic, they're more personal. And the beautiful thing is, by healing this in yourself, in a strange way, you're helping heal your lineage. By healing it in yourself, I think healing works in all directions. You help the people that come after you. You help the people that came before you. That's my belief. So instead of saying it's a vicious circle, it's part of what life has given us to help us heal and transform. You know, a lot of times people look around them and they see a crazy world and they go, how do I fix the world? And you can't fix the world, but you can start by changing yourself.
Yes.
and that's hard enough.
Yeah.
But changing yourself is tremendous. Because once you're able to start giving that part of your body and your life more love, more awareness, more acceptance, more consciousness, you're radiating that out into the field, because so many people have this exact same challenge that you're talking about. It's not just your lineage. It's not just the women in your family. This is so many human beings. I'm in this conversation quite a bit. So this is a more of a planetary wide phenomenon, and we heal it one person at a time. But when one of us heals, I think it invisibly impacts all of us.
Yes, that gives me hope.
Yes. Well, I really appreciate this conversation, Julia, and I appreciate you, and I think we did some good work today.
Yes, it has been. Thank you very much, Mark. It's really been great direction for me. It's a big opening. I really appreciate that. Thank you very much.
You're so welcome, Julia, and thanks everybody for tuning in. Take care, my friends.
Hey friends, we're so happy that you've joined us for another episode of The Psychology of Eating with Marc David. Are you loving these episodes? Then simply subscribe and you'll never miss an episode again. We'd also love it if you'd leave us a comment below so we can hear more about your own journey with food and body. And if you're curious about what we offer at the Institute for the Psychology of Eating, including our internationally acclaimed coach certification training that's rooted in dynamic eating psychology and mind-body nutrition, please head on over to our website, psychologyofeating.com. Until next time, take care, and remember, having the body you want starts with loving the body you have.